coming?
He's frozen.
Yeah, that was a long time.
Who's frozen?
Hard work.
That
Hard
movie.
work. Yep. All right, Mr. Craig. Who do we have here today?
Mr. David Seagraves from Farmers Insurance. One of
Ooh,
the Big F.
the Big F.
The F-bomb you can drop anywhere.
That's right.
That's right.
Yep. Well, welcome to the Insurance Dudes.
Yeah.
I'd say, why don't we start with a little round of speed breakers?
Speed breakers, and then I can't wait to ask what the first, which David already kind of said he's got a bomb for us. So let's start with speed
The
breakers.
one he said is
and then
not the
we'll go
one. He said
Yeah,
No,
that wasn't
but it's a
actually the
different
one.
that was a red herring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
All
I'm
right.
excited.
Uh,
Speed breakers.
Let me pull it up. Are you ready? Put the timer on.
Okay.
And have you ever had a mullet?
No.
First crush.
8th grade.
Most embarrassing thing your mom ever caught you doing?
You know.
Fastest speed ever driven.
95.
Favorite cereal?
Fruity Pebbles.
How many kids?
1.
Have you made cry? You got to wait till the end, please.
Too many.
Count Chocula or Count Dracula?
Both?
Fastest mile?
Maybe 6'10".
Correct.
Nice.
Favorite flavor?
Chocolate.
Also correct. Dogs or cats?
I plead the 5th.
Tacos or burritos?
Tacos.
So that means it was cats. Trump or Biden? You don't
I'm
have
not
to
going to answer that one
Yeah,
either.
I figured.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome, and you did win on Speed Breakers. So great job.
Oh,
Great
good.
job.
That's my
We
goal.
did
is
get
to
a
win
cat.
in life, so.
The studio audience is just enamored with David Seagraves, and we just started.
That is unbelievable. Now, let's jump into what I am so curious about, which is, David, what was your first concert? Go all the way back.
Well, now it's going to be so anticlimactic. But my dad took me to AC/DC on my 12th birthday.
Oh,
That is not anti.
That is
that is not.
great. What tour was that?
I don't know. I don't know. It was, okay, so it was in 2002.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is
Wow.
awesome.
And he said the only reason why he took me was because they came to town on my birthday.
Oh, that's
Wow.
phenomenal.
That is a good dad right there.
Yeah, that's right. It is.
You're darn tootin'.
Do you still have the shirt? I'm sure you got a shirt.
I did get a shirt, and I got a really giant shirt, and it's somewhere. I can't remember where it is. It might even still be at my parents' house.
Oh, look at Craig.
Well,
On
that's the
video.
producer, not me.
That's actually no AC/DC. This actually just backstage.
Yeah.
My first concert was Michael Jackson, and it was on my birthday as well. It was on my 9th birthday, and she only took me to that because the same thing, it's a birthday. And I still have the shirt. It's got some holes in it because I did start wearing it again. I actually wore it to Michael Jackson's house at one point. That's another story. So anyways, David, let's go back from AC/DC to now at the Big F. Tell us about that journey.
It was a fun journey. I actually went to school to be a pilot.
No way.
That
Yeah,
makes
so
sense.
I
I can
am a
see
pilot.
that.
I have my pilot's license, but
Mm-hmm.
I decided I want to be a dad and a husband more. So, I wanted to fly big old airplanes, and flying big airplanes requires you to be away from home for 3-4 days at a time. So before I graduated, I decided to kind of change to air traffic control instead of piloting. I didn't go down that route. Worked for Frontier for about 4 years, and then had to leave the aviation industry for stupid regulations we won't get into here. So then I ran a restaurant for 3 years, and then I realized very quickly that I didn't want to do that unless it was my own restaurant.
Mm.
And
Which
now I'm
luckily
here.
you got out of that.
Yes.
That's great. But I'll tell you one thing, man, because I did the same thing for like 10 years. I worked in bars and restaurants. There is no better place to learn communication.
Oh,
I
that's for
mean,
sure.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
Um, wow. So I want to know, what was the most interesting part about working as in the airline business? What was that like?
I mean, it was my favorite job I had and probably will ever have. If I could go back, I would, I don't know that I would at this point because I like what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Um, but the benefits were probably the best. So for a time being, for about 4 months, I worked for a very small airline in Idaho, and every other week I would fly home to Colorado just because I could. And I was a dispatcher at the time, and as a dispatcher, you get to sit up front. So that was probably my favorite part, is being able to fly up front. I got to fly up front a few times to go visit my brother in Philly. I mean, it's always what I wanted to do, was fly an airplane, right? So
That's so cool.
that was my
As a
favorite part, probably.
And as a dispatcher, what would your day look like? I wouldn't even know. What does that entail?
So dispatcher's like a pilot on the ground. That's kind of what I describe a dispatcher to be. So they're doing the flight plans. They're looking at maintenance and all kinds of stuff to make sure that flight is, you know, safe to go. Kind of the eyes on the ground for the pilot as he's flying, because you can only see what's out in front of you, and it's a whole lot of sky. So
Wow, that is
yeah.
incredible. So I want to know. So you're working in a restaurant. What got you into insurance? I love the backgrounds. Everybody has such a cool story. So that
Mhm.
has been probably one of the coolest because, yeah, every little boy wants to be a pilot at some point, right?
Sure.
Um, yeah.
Um,
So how did you get into it?
yeah. So I think when I really realized what path I wanted to take after aviation was done, I was working in the restaurant, and I realized that I definitely didn't want to manage a bit. I wanted to manage a business, I thought, or get into sales somehow. Um, but oh wow, the sun is coming in right at the wrong angle. um,
Just
You
I
got goggles.
put down your sun visor.
yeah, there is no sun visor. I'll
Oh.
just do this.
Your office
It's
doesn't.
literally
Perfect.
comes right through the blinds right now. If we were actually on time, this wouldn't have happened.
Mine is about to
Right.
do it.
So, um, anyways, uh, I decided I wanted to go into sales, and I was like, well, how about food distribution, right? Because that's the most close sales that there was. And I applied a few places, and they all wanted experience, and I didn't have any sales experience. So then I was like, well, what can I do in sales that doesn't need experience? So it was like, okay, real estate,
Mm.
mortgages, or insurance. And when
That's
I
the
told my
third.
wife about those three things, she said, well, insurance has a base salary. I like safe. And then I opened an agency a year later, which is not safe.
Mhm.
No. From scratch, you did?
No, I bought an agency. So Farmers has this cool program called the Protege Program. So I actually worked under an agent for about a year and a half, a year and 3 months. And then I bought an agency last September. I actually started the same time George did.
Oh,
Same month.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, crazy. So what did you learn at the other agency as you were opening your new agency? What were some of the big takeaways that you learned from a veteran?
You got to track your numbers, keep score. Winners keep score. Constant training, and just
Yeah.
make sure you have a
Mm.
process. I mean, to me, those are the three keys to being
Yeah.
successful. There's other things, but I would say definitely, even in the last 6 months, those are probably the three biggest things that I have changed in my agency, and that have really created my success over the last few months.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So walk me through the first day, the first month. Like, what happened? You walked in the door. You're the new boss. Was there staff?
Yeah, Farmers requires you to have a licensed producer. So, or at least they did. I'm pretty sure they do now still. I was a kid in the candy shop. I wanted to do everything and even more. And so you go and try and you spend money, but I didn't know what I was doing at all.
Right.
You never know what you're doing right off the bat. So, I mean, that's what it was. I tried a bunch of things and they didn't work. And then you slowly learn and you slowly take away and keep hustling, keep grinding, and eventually stuff sticks to the wall.
Love it. Love it. And what were you doing? So you come out of the gates. I, you know, we've known each other probably since you started, right? So, right around that time,
Oh, well,
or
so it was
opened the
September of
agency.
19.
Oh, September of 19. Okay.
Yeah.
And so take us through, I mean, what a crazy time to come into owning an agency. You're learning this stuff as you go the first few months, and 2020 is exciting. We're starting
Yeah,
off with the best economy ever, and then boom, right? So take us through that journey and how you pivoted and were able to continue success.
sure. So, back when I was working under that agent in the protege program, I like to say that I was playing insurance agent. I wasn't really an insurance agent at that point. All I wanted to do was go and network, and because that's the fun part, go drink beer after work and meet people. Right. So,
Yeah.
that's what I did. I learned I didn't learn fast enough, but I learned that by about 9 months into owning my own agency, that was not something that I could do. And then COVID came, and that was honestly, I couldn't anymore. So, I would say those are the biggest differences between my first 9 months and the last, 8 months have been,
What kind
okay, get your ass in the seat and get on the
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah. What were your prospecting efforts before and after? How has that changed? And yeah, like what? Gosh, that had to
It
be
hasn't changed.
scary too.
It hasn't changed a whole lot. Nothing scary. I mean, it is, but if you're scared, you're not doing anything. If you're scared, you're shaking in your boots and you're not moving forward. So, if I'm scared for 5 minutes and then I move on because it doesn't help.
Right.
So, I mean, my prospecting efforts were similar. I mean, you buy live transfers, you buy internet leads, you talk to people in hopes that they want to talk to you. But there was no focus. There was no focus. And now there's a focus. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I want to know too, being as an agent working for another agent, you now are wearing the owner hat and going into this. Talk about like what you learned as working more on the floor for an agent, and now you're working for an agent and yourself. How are you pivoting at this point?
Everybody runs their agency differently. I don't know if this is going to answer your question either, but everybody runs their agency differently. I think the biggest pivot for me was knowing what not to do. I learned more what not to do, and really have a plan. I mean, that's the key. You just have to have a plan, and the plan's going to change. But have a plan and go do it. I don't really.
No,
I don't know that there was a whole lot of pivot other than that.
That's huge, right? And something right in the middle of that, which is, be ready for it to change, because that is going to happen. I still struggle with that sometimes because I try to get, my mind is always over in a million directions, as it is right now as I'm talking. But so you try to get organized. I'll try to get organized, lay it out, and then of course the chaos happens. And you've got to set yourself up to be ready for that, and then accept it, right? Because you set the schedule and then it blows up. It's easy to get derailed and blow up with the schedule if you're not prepared for that. And I think that's really, really huge. Your awareness of that. So I want to acknowledge that.
It's just like having a budget, right? Everybody thinks a budget is like January through December. This is how much I'm going to spend.
Right.
And then come March, COVID comes and you're like, oh, wait, what? Or whatever, your washer breaks or your water heater breaks, and now you're out $2,000. And it's like, okay, well, there goes my budget. Okay, time to move on. Life still goes on.
Right. Right.
Nobody cares that your water heater broke. Sorry.
Hence the reason why 2020 didn't affect you much is because your mindset is just I'm constantly pivoting to make
Right.
it work.
2020 was the best thing for me because I am not playing insurance agent anymore.
Right.
I'm sitting down and doing it. Go figure out
Yep.
what works and stop complaining. I hate Facebook. I hate Facebook and those groups that everybody complains about. I love
Right.
Facebook because there's great groups out there, but God, there's one that somebody asked me to join the other day, and it's all just complaining.
Yeah.
Shut up, stop complaining, and go do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's tough. And getting caught up in that kind of negativity will just bring you down because it's easy to jump in, right?
Right.
And just start. Yeah. Well, that's true. That happens, and then all of a sudden you're down the rabbit hole of toxic.
Since I left the aviation industry, it has truly, my mindset has done a giant shift. And I live my life and nobody else does. And how am I going to live my life? Half full. Crap happens and, stuff hits the fan and you live in it. It's healthy to live in it and be negative for a moment because that's what you do. That's what we're hardwired to do. But take that negativity and what good happened out of it? What did I learn from this experience? I even take the most darkest times you can think of, and there's, somebody, God forbid, somebody dies in your family, and there's a positive in that. They're no longer suffering, or I get to go see my family, or we all get to mourn together. There's always something good that happens in everything in life, and why live in the negative? That's no fun. And again, it's just like being scared. That doesn't help you progress.
Yeah. Why do you think
Right.
people go there? Why is it so
'Cause
much
it's easy.
easier? Yeah. But what makes it easier?
It's easy to complain because that's it is. If you don't need to grow, I mean, let me think about how to answer that. If I don't need to work, it's easy because it's no work. There's no work in complaining. There's no work
Totally.
in not getting better.
Right.
Learning
I
is hard.
agree.
You're
Nobody wants to do
justifying
hard.
you're justifying your loss, right? Just
Right.
it sucks. My staff sucks. This is the
Right.
worst, right? And
Internet leads suck.
Yeah.
internet leads suck.
Craig and I were just talking about that. Like any kind of growth, there's a part of being uncomfortable. So it's hard to be uncomfortable every day, when you are trying to grow. It's hard. That's why people don't work out that much, or it is hard to get on that routine because it's tough and you get sore the next day. Then it's hard to keep going. It's being uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, it means you're out of your comfort zone.
Good one. Good one, Jason.
I mean, obvious, right?
Well, and you have to do it across all of the different areas of your life, right? It's not just, okay, in business, I have to get uncomfortable. It's working out, right? So my physical, I have to get uncomfortable, mental, spiritual, whatever, all of these, with my family sometimes, you get home, you're tired, something comes up with your spouse and you're like, nah, I don't even want to deal with that. So you just let it go because you don't want to get uncomfortable with that and have the conversation. And it's very easy to get down that slippery slope of just letting the stuff go in all the areas. Right.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it just, so
I actually, there was a
pontificating.
I'm with, I think you've actually had them on the podcast. The RPOA, Jeremy Olson and Kristen Isaacson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were giant key to my success over the last few months. They were the ones that have helped me get my process down, my framework, if you will. That's kind of what I call it. But they recently had Weldon Long. I don't know if you've heard Weldon Long on the before. Weldon Long's one of those guys that like motivational speaker. But he had this saying that he's read a few times. Like Nietzsche said it, and it's in the Bible, but we attract that which we fear. Like that to me is so key, right? Your thoughts determine what you're going to do.
Who is this person?
His name's Weldon Long.
Mm-hmm. What is he?
He's like a sales coach, motivational speaker guy. He wrote a
Wow.
book called The Power of Consistency. That's what I'm reading right now.
Oh, cool.
But his whole thing is about your thoughts. Everything starts with your thoughts. Your thoughts create your emotions, which create your actions, which turn into your results. So what you're thinking right now is going to determine what you're going to do tomorrow, period.
Yep.
Those thoughts floating around in your brain are how your results are going to show.
I was literally just talking to my wife about that, and she hates it when I talk about any of this kind of
So
stuff.
does mine.
Esoteric
So does
mind
mine.
stuff.
Yeah, like trying to work on, like if I bring up anything about like, oh, you know, something about meditating or you can control that. It's like, listen, I'm not on your stupid podcast. Like,
That's what my wife
Literally-
goes, you're not selling me insurance right now, so shut up.
yeah, that's the same. That's so funny. But I mean, that's what the conversation was about. It was like literally the only person that you're wrestling with is yourself. Like,
Right.
I mean, the difference between like if Donald Trump started over again, I know he's a little controversial these days, but regardless, he could probably get back to where he was wealth-wise, right? If he started from zero. Because he's been there, he's seen it, he's done it. There's a clear path. There's nothing stopping him from thinking like, oh, I can't do this because he's done it. So he would get back there. Now, if I started from nothing, I couldn't get to his point. Or could I? I could if I truly believe, like I can only be stopped by the things that I believe I can or can't do.
Right. Yeah.
And so we had that. Yeah, that was it. It's like, I don't even want to talk to you about any of this stupid
It's
stuff.
self-limiting beliefs, right? You're either
Totally.
you can or you can't.
You are
Yep.
never going to exceed what you believe, but you can certainly fall short if you don't believe it.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
that's been that's been key to me, is just that mindset of positivity. And you know, I'm living my life for me, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and the results come from whatever you want to do. So
Yeah. Do or do not. There is no try.
that's right. Who was that said that?
I don't know. I can't remember.
It's a movie, right?
Blue is like a blue guy, right?
Yeah, it's blue. Avatar. Was it from Avatar?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't want
That's
Lucas
awesome.
to come and get us for mentioning anything. So
Yeah, no
What-
trademarks.
To be continue.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to write 100,000 in premium
Yes.
off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes, it's a weekly call that we're doing right now it's live, and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now, live.teledudes.com.
Live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get
Yep.
to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice. I'm
Craig,
gonna
are you going to
text now.
respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. Live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be
Well-
awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's
Okay.
520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.